Hey kids, welcome to the Stylus Rumble Harmony Rigging Animation Effects Time thing. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about expressions and faces because it's kind of a lazy Sunday and I just want to draw something fun. So faces are one of the things I've loved to draw since I was little. I have tons of sketchbooks from when I was a teenager and stuff, where it's just all faces. I didn't really draw anything outside of that for a long time until I started getting more serious about drawing, throwing in, the rest of the human as well. I mean, I guess the rest exists as well. But I find so much of a story can be told just with the expression of the face. So I do like portraiture as well. These grayscale studies I find really helpful for learning the forms of the face, getting like noses that are not just little cartoon noses. But of course, depending on what your actual interest is in the long run will determine how much time you actually have to spend on stuff like this. More cartoony exploration is fine as well. But I do tend to get a little bit more structural with the face than some cartoonists out there. Like a lot of people will go this far, or there are lots of cool cartoons now that have just this sort of, just this type of design, where it's very simple and the character might even just be like a little thumb shape. And these like super simple things came from limited animation, where because you save yourself a lot of time by designing something like this. Hey guys. And there's certainly a lot of fun to be had in this realm of cartooning, or even simpler. But overall, when you're thinking about expressions, things can be broken down to just like this level. Face. I don't remember where I read this. It was ages ago where I read this, where it's like if you're ever trying to do an expression, just break it down to this. And no matter how complex your character gets, once you start putting this stuff in, you can refer back to this. So he wants a big happy smile. There you go. And then his eyes are pretty wide and his eyebrows are this shape. So, that's not too bad. It looks like a smile. And then you can, once you get farther into it, you can start thinking about how this part of the mouth here, as it's pushing up, is pushing up the fat of this cheek as well. But that's, again, depending on what style you're actually interested in. This might not be a huge impact for you. Just knowing that it'll cause a little bit of a wrinkle here in the corner of the mouth, and then getting the cheek pushed up into the eyes. You can think of that really simply. You don't need to go into all the muscles and stuff if you don't really want to as a cartoonist. Woo, my hair is fire. All right, and you can take this guy and we're gonna do a grumpy face. I do this with my kid. He's like, draw a grumpy face. So I draw this guy, and you can take that and you can translate it into a character. So here the face is getting drawn up, so I'm gonna bring the cheeks up. The cheeks is an entity, give him a big frowny face, and then you can think about if you're pushing your face down, this grumpy stuff. And one thing I do is I make the face I'm making. So if I'm drawing a grumpy face, I have a grumpy face, and I can feel my eyebrows coming right down here. You get little beady eyes. And then this will even like push, because you're going like giving some like snarl there. It'll give him like a pushed up nostril. And we can even bring this higher. Bring his chin way out. So you're starting to get, by starting here, so you can see this is all being pushed up, this part here. So you're going to push all that up there like this. You're even going to push the cheeks up. Cheeks are all taking on that form. And the chin can even start to pull up into this, because you can just think of this chin as a sphere here, or as like the shape of a chin. It's all coming up and around and pushed it into this grumpy face. So just start with this. That's all you need. So, and you have a face. Most of you should have a face, but even if you don't have a face, you have access to the internet. I'm pretty sure about that because you're watching this video, so you must be watching that on the internet. But you can just Google angry face and you might get this, and then you can play with that and translate it over here. So then we think of, so next we'll have a sad face. Oh, and he's really sad. Get a really long face. You don't need a nose. You're just a face. And you can break that down to a character. So give him a really long face. And his eyebrows go way up. And the long nose. And the mouth way down there. So by taking these basic shapes, which most people should be able to draw a happy face or a sad face. We should make him wet, like he's out in the rain. And it's just raining on him. He's having such a bad day. So you can take something like I mean, anybody should be able to draw this type of face where you get the expression just through the absolute bare minimum of shapes. And then you can try and practice pulling that expression over to your character. So here, obviously, I'm just drawing random characters at this point. But I could take this same guy and then try and make him sad. So his eyebrows now are gonna go like this. And then his mouth is gonna go down instead of up. Already. There you go, we've got happy and we've got sad. And there you've got your first step to animating this character. So here's frame 1, frame 2, boop. Now you've got your expression change. Boop. So he's getting concerned all of a sudden. And you could also, if you want to level this up a little bit, you can start bringing perspective in. So think about if you're sad, you kind of like feel bad. You're gonna like pull your head in like this. So you might actually bring your sad face down like this, and character's looking up. He's feeling really bad. Maybe bring that chin down a little bit. So we can do that to our character. So pull his chin in. And we'll press that second key there. So now character's starting out happy, and he's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And bringing that expression down into the body is really going to help as well. So not just tilting the head. That's shortened quite a bit. So not just bringing the chin down and tucking his head in, but here if he's feeling really good about himself, he might bring his shoulders back, thrust out his chest. Here he's like, yeah, okay, pretty good now, feeling pretty good. And then when things go poorly, his shoulders will drop. So you can think of the entire body and pulling in these basic shapes. So when you have a sad face, things are getting drawn down, and kind of up here, things are just kind of melting down. All the pieces are being pulled. So the body, you can think of the same thing. So here's your sad guy. And then if he's feeling really sad, then his whole body can have that same downward sort of pulling those shapes in like that. And you can practice with super simple forms like this. Think about the same thing. Happy, all these things are going up and they're feeling really good. The smile is going up and everything's poop-a-doop-a-doop is feeling really happy and up moving. And the character can do the same thing. So you pull in those happy shapes, those ups. He's pulling his head right up. His neck is long. His shoulders are back and he's feeling really good. You could even do the Superman stance. Yeah, feeling good, feeling tall. And instead you do. And then the angry one, everything's being pulled up and crumped and stuff. And the same thing happens with your body. So here you've got that grumpy face. Everything's getting pulled up together. And then your shoulders are getting pulled and scrunched as well, and everything is just feeling really contracted. So your whole body is being crumpled up into an angry ball of rage. So I might have gone a little too crazy with that shoulder. But everything's really tense in this face, and even from the get-go, this face, everything's being pulled in towards the center like that. So it's like an X. An X is sort of your angry face is looking at an X. So you bring the stuff in here. This is coming in here. And this is coming in. It's all headed towards like the center of the face. Like everything's being pulled in this way. And these are your 3 like most exaggerated poses. And it can get subtler from here. But I find you can always just go back to your happy face. So you have kind of a confused happy face. I guess it's not a happy face. You have a confused face. And the confused face, the thing I love about the confused face is even when you're drawing it, feels kind of confused. So this elbow, this one's down and this one's up. And then this cheek might come up, like this side of the face might be up a little bit. And this one's down. So even the face itself is confused. But you can look at ways to try and find some rhythm in there. Your body could be, you have kind of some choices here. So if he's confused, he could just kind of, he's just almost like dejected confused, where his arms are just kind of hanging by his body, like he's like, what do I even do with this? Or he might be more actively confused, where he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing here, man. What is this? And then we can take this and grab our character up here who we've been animating, pull him down, and we can say, okay, how do we take our designed character and make him look a little bit more confused? So we can grab these eyebrows, match that, and then grab this mouth. Now, we've got one eye sort of scrunched up. This one's not as much, so this one can stay a little bit rounder. Like that. I feel like I want to tilt his head along with all that other stuff. You want to do like the dog head tilt where you're like, huh? Yeah, that's not the worst. I mean, it's a rough. What do you want? What do you want? And then the next stage of this would be finding a way to get from here to here. So that's going into the brain processing. So you're thinking, so he's looking over here. Maybe he spots something. Burp, burp, looking over. And his eye direction in the second one, we're going to get a little bit more on point. So he looks over and he sees something that he's disappointed with. So there might be a stage in between here where he goes from happy to kind of a little less happy. We'll say. He starts to think about what he's looking at. So he's looking over, he's having a good time, he happens to see something, and then it goes back to the type of stuff I talked about in the Tangled breakdown, where he looks, and then it takes a moment for his brain to pick it up. So his eyes will hit first, and then there'll be a second, or a fraction of a second, where he's like, oh, this isn't something I wanted. So he needs a moment to think about it. And he might narrow his eyes, depending on how hard he's thinking. He might, like, what am I seeing here? He might even be a little bit confused, like, one eyebrow might come down. So he goes from looking, and then he's like, wait a minute. And then he's sad about it. So it'll go from here to thinking about it. What am I actually saying? And then you might get a slow out into a, oh. So from here, you might get a little bit of a slow realization. So his eyebrow will come up along this line, and his eyes will open a little bit. This part might come up like this. So you got like 4 eyebrows now because I was kind of like animating in my head. Oh. No. Oh no. So this might be even kind of small. Oh. And then a floop. There's a lot of movement that could happen in the interim here. So between here and here, maybe his shoulders will come down and his chest will be a little bit inflated. And then here, we can bring over this sort of thing. So he's starting to get more in towards this body. So here the shoulders might be starting to drop. We can bring them up a little bit so that they don't go too fast. And then the shoulders will come down until they hit the low point. Sneak a little bit of perspective in here. So he's happy, and he's thinking, and then he's starting to realize, oh, this is not so great, and then he's sad about it. So I feel like this is a decent enough. So maybe next I'll take this into, I mean, it doesn't look like blue. Blue's kicking around in here because it's the same as my lip sync video. But maybe I'll take this guy into a board form and we'll animate that with the rig next. That sounds like a good idea. That's it for this one. I think it's just kind of a ramble and I wanted to draw some pictures, so I figured I'd share them with you. But my kid just woke up from his nap, so now I'm going to go draw some more happy faces with him. If there's any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Like, share, subscribe, all those things internet people ask you to do, and I will see you in the next episode where I'll animate Blue doing what we just kind of roughed out here. Bye!